And I want you to open your heart and your minds this morning and let's receive. And I want you to listen. You know, it's good to be spiritually sound. We need to be. But God wants us sound in every area of our lives. He wants us to learn how to take care of ourselves and our families. Amen. And she has a profitable business. Amen. Glory to God. So at this time, I want you to greet, receive Sister Tanisha Springs. Amen. Glory to God. I love you, precious Lord. You just be led by the Holy Spirit.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Amen.
ma'am. Good morning. Wow. Well, what a wonderful introduction. I know she know me since I was a baby, right? If I can give some handouts, give a little assistance, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, all right. Well, as she said, my name is Tanisha Springs, and I'm going to go through a little information with you all today. First of all, let me say there is no bad question except the one you don't ask me. So please ask questions. Um, I was in Sumter, South Carolina yesterday uh, with a ministry there. And don't worry, I won't keep you all as long. Okay. They had a lot of questions. We was talking for about 2.5 hours yesterday. But they left in a better position than they arrived in. And that's exactly the goal for you, is that you leave more empowered than you came in the door this morning. Okay. Many of y'all I know. So, hey, it's good to see you. And for those that I don't, hopefully I can get to know you. Okay. Lancaster is home for me. This is home. And as she stated, we family. And so I believe that a part of my purpose, my God-given purpose, is to utilize the skills and the interests and the knowledge that God has given me to be a blessing to my family. And since y'all family, I guess that includes y'all too, right? All right, praise the Lord. Okay, okay. So we're going to go through a few things today. And before I go any further, I just want y'all to know, I didn't just show up. I believe that everywhere I go, I was sent there. Okay, I believe I was sent there, and today is absolutely no different. We're standing in a time right now, financially, within our country, within our ministries, within our homes, that I believe more now than any other time, we have got to get our financial houses in order. There's 2,350 verses in your Bible that deal with money and possession. When I started speaking to churches, it's been 17 years, all right, since I began speaking to churches. God gave me the business, and I decided, well, I want to educate with this thing. When I first started out, they were like, well, just call the people in the phone book. I said, I ain't calling them people in no phone book. Folks don't want to talk to me. They don't know me. I almost quit. I was like, really? Because my background is social work and mental health. That's where I started out. That's what my degrees are in, is that type of thing. I always knew I was going to help somebody. I just didn't know how. Okay. And so after they wanted me to call through the phone book, the Lord placed a good mentor there. And he took me to a YMCA in Charlotte. And he began to do a workshop, and he had a whole bunch of seniors and retirees in there, and he started teaching them about Medicare and insurance and retirement. And I said, praise God, I am home. This is it. I get to educate. I get to help. Then I can be contracted with the companies and everything that everyone needs, but I get to do it the right way. Okay. My mom, some of y'all might know my mom, Evelyn Springs. She might have cooked you a cake or some stickies or something at some point. Okay, all right. But I'll never forget the day that I called my mom and I said, these folks want me to go out here and put this lady on this plan for $75 a month. And I know she can't afford no more than about 25. She said, well, I guess the Lord talking to you, ain't it? Time for you to start your own thing, Tanisha. And that's what I did. I ended up doing gospel radio here for a few years. I don't know if y'all used to listen to Waggle or not, but I would be on there on Sunday mornings for a little while there, and I would do your Empowered Financial Moment. All right, that's just kind of what came to me because I wanted to empower people financially. So today we're going to talk a lot about some of the things that I believe somebody should have told us a long time ago. Okay, some of the things that over my years, over my 17 years, people have been sitting in front of me saying, well, if somebody had told me that, I would have done better. I heard it so much and so often, whether I was sitting with the 50-year-old that had a policy that was getting ready to lapse on her, or the 82-year-old that had 3 more months of insurance left, or the retiree that had spent up almost all of his money and didn't even realize he could have put it into an annuity that would have paid him for the rest of his life, even with a zero balance. Regardless, they all said the same thing. Somebody should have told me. Or the folks that by the time they get down to the probate office after somebody died, they realize that the state of South Carolina already filed a claim before they even walked through the door. Somebody should have told me. Because see, if they had signed the right papers, dotted the right I's, crossed the right T's on the right pieces of paper, they would have still had everything that they worked for. We can transfer our wealth to the next generation. It can be there for our children's children if we set it up the right way. But if we don't, the state already has a plan for you, and it's not going to benefit you. Okay? So somebody should have told me. Somebody should have told us, y'all. They should have told us before the job ended, before the diagnosis came. They should have told us. Before the funeral, before the lawyer said there's nothing left, somebody should have told us. They should have told us the truth about money, insurance, and our families. Somebody should have told us that the decisions we make or that we don't make will follow our children long after we are gone. But they didn't. Maybe they didn't know. Okay? My grandmama and my granddaddy told me the best that they had. They didn't know all about this stuff. What they did know, they passed on to me. So maybe they didn't know. Maybe nobody told them. Okay? Maybe they were too proud or too private. You know, we don't want nobody in our business. Okay. Or too scared to have a conversation. But I'm not scared. I'm not scared. And so what we're going to start with today, first, a little bit about the world that we're living in right now. Somebody should have told us that right now, you all, we have more people turning 65 than we have people being born. Amen. Think about that impact. We have more people turning 65 and retiring than we have brand new babies being born. That affects everything. It affects the ownership of land and home. It affects retirements. It affects who gets what. It affects all of it. Somebody should have told us that what they call it is a silver tsunami. I see the silver. I'm getting some myself. Somebody should have told us that stress kills. And financial stress destroys marriages, short lives, keeps good people up at night staring at the ceiling, wondering how in the world we gonna make it. Somebody should have told us that families want security in their finances and in their homes. But security don't happen by accident. It happens by a decision. They should have told us that we can work a 9 to 5 and build something on the side that we can actually retire with. If you think the Lord gave you one gift, one blessing only, you are mistaken. What you go and do for your 9 to 5 is wonderful, but what other gifts did he put inside of you? I'm yet to meet anybody that can't come up with something. You go work your job, but you are a wonderful cook. You go work your job, but you can fix any piece of machinery somebody put in front of you. You go work your job, but you can come together and put together the healthiest meal I ever seen on Facebook and make everybody want to eat a little bit of it. Give me some. I've been looking. We all have extra gifts that we have to monetize. We just got to figure out how to get paid for them. You have what you need. It's already there. But many of us don't. We don't realize it. And we rely only on the system to make a way for us. I'm going to challenge y'all to do something a little bit different. So I want to talk to somebody right now in particular. I want to talk to the woman or the man who is raising your children and taking care of your parents at the same time. She's working, she's cooking, she's driving somebody to dialysis, helping somebody else with their homework on the same Tuesday. She's paying her mama's bills and her own mortgage. And somewhere in the middle of all that, she forgot to take care of herself. Somebody should have told her that one health crisis could come around and take everything. That many women outlive our husbands. Now, I ain't trying to knock y'all off, man. I'm just saying it is what it is. And when he gets sick, his illness takes the savings. And when that's gone, she has nothing left. Somebody should have told us that the woman who went through the divorce and feel like she lost everything, she didn't lose everything. He didn't lose everything. Yeah, the retirement might have been split, the credit might have been shaken up, but there's still a thing called starting over, and you can do that. Someone should have told us that if you're 62 and you're married and you're at year 9.5, and you call Miss Tanisha saying, I can't do it no more, I'm throwing in the towel. Somebody should have told you, I'm going to tell you to hold on a little while longer, child. Hold on. Why? Because they got this thing called spousal support. All right? It allows that spouse to get his Social Security, but it also allows you to pull off of that to increase your Social Security. I see some head nodding. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Amen. Amen. Many of us don't even know it exists. Do you realize how many retirees are trying to make it on $800 and she could be getting $1,200, or he could be getting $1,200 of spousal support? It doesn't affect the other person's money. They still gonna get every penny, but it increases yours. Somebody should have told you. I know. There you go. Talk about it. Now, somebody should have told us what happens when mama has a stroke on a Wednesday. When the hospital asks who has power of attorney, and the whole family turn around and start looking at each other. Who got power of attorney? Did y'all get power of attorney? No, I ain't never get that filled out. What is power of attorney? Well, by the time I thought about it, she had dementia, and I couldn't get it done anyway. They wasn't gonna notarize it. So now who can speak up for mama? Who can sign her paperwork? Who can tell the doctor what she wanted done and what she didn't want done? Nobody. When they ask, does she have a policy? And somebody says, well, I think it's something in the shoebox, or maybe up in the cabinet, up in the closet up there under the mattress. That I don't know what kind of policy is, but I think we got something, right? See, I've been up in them closets. Miss Jane done had me in there. No, baby, not that box. This one over here. I done been up in there. It's not a good place for the family to be, hoping and wishing that something's in place. Only relying on the policy through the job to realize that policy already lapsed. Or if it hasn't lapsed, that the value of it's gone down so low now that you don't even have enough insurance to do what you need to do. Understand, companies are not looking out for you. They know one thing, and it's called a bottom line. And baby, the bottom line is green. Have you something separate that belongs to you? Somebody should have told us that when you at the hospital and it's time to plan, that's not the time for your family to fall out with each other. That the woman who died with that secret, that policy, nobody even knew the policy existed, or the premium had been paid for 22 years. She was mailing it in, but she got sick and she didn't mail it those last couple of months, and the policy lapsed while she was laying in the hospital. Why? Because we don't have no meetings. We don't sit around as a family and talk about the hard stuff. We pretend that everything is fine, and that if we don't talk about it, that miraculously everything is just going to fall into place. But y'all, it don't fall into place. It falls out of place. It falls on the backs of those people that's sitting there talking about, y'all didn't already do this. When I go in now and have meetings with families, we get the chicken and the macaroni and cheese, the green beans, and some sweet teas and rolls. We get all of that. And then we get about 10, 15 people in the same room. And we learn. And we talk. All the things that you don't want to bring up to your sister, that you don't want to mention to auntie, that you're scared to ask granddaddy and daddy about. I ain't scared. I know it's a different way of thinking, a different way of handling things, but different times call for different measures. Somebody should have told us about the family that passed the hat before the funeral, and the fact that they was mad when they got there to pick out the casket. Already rolling their eyes at each other. Tell the truth, shame the devil. Amen. We can have a church full of people, just like we have here today, that have known things for decades, but if we don't take action, it makes no difference whatsoever. They should have told us that we have to update our beneficiary lines. Y'all done seen a policy, an old policy now, that nobody ever went back and updated who the beneficiary is. The people that's on there for beneficiary already done died. Yeah, y'all done seen some. They already with the Lord. And guess what happens to that policy when you don't update the beneficiary? See, here's the thing. A life insurance policy is set up so it passes straight through probate. Your life insurance policy does not go through probate. It goes straight to the beneficiary, as long as you have the beneficiaries accurate and updated. But when you don't, and there's no beneficiary that's living for that policy to go to, that policy goes to probate, and a judge decides who receives what. You just took something that did not have to go into probate and made it something that now has to go through probate. You need a primary and a contingent, and if somebody passes away, it needs to be updated immediately. Many times, grandmama's beneficiary was granddaddy. They passed away within a couple of months of each other. No beneficiary now. Make sense? Y'all with me? You learning a little bit? All right. All right, I'll make sure now. So what I want to do right quick is I want to talk about, and about beneficiaries. Let me say the last thing. Update also your retirement plans. Don't be the family where somebody passes away and all the benefits go to the ex because you didn't update nothing. I hear you. All right. Went all the way to the Supreme Court. This has already happened. This ain't no old. This ain't nothing new. This is old. A man worked 30-something years, had a wife. All right. He divorced the first wife. He remarried. Built a whole family. They were together for a long time, and then he passed away. Because he never updated any beneficiary, anything, it all went to the first wife. Ain't that something? Then they took it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said the beneficiary line wins. Your will does not supersede the beneficiary line. Who really knew what he wanted? We must go by what's on the paper. Update your documents. Okay. All right. Now, has everybody gotten your will done? Okay. I see some saying yes. I see some amens. I see some no's. Okay. Grandmama and them done did their will. Granddaddy, your parents, they done did their wills. Think about it. You ain't got to say nothing. Just think. Think. Because today is not just for you. It's for your family. Why? Because if I cut one of you, it's going to bleed on everybody. So it's for the family. Now, what I've come to understand is our wills are a wish. Okay? Our wills are a wish. Yesterday, when I was doing and speaking, I said this. I thought this lady was going to fall out her chair. She said, "What you say?" We just did the will. Your will is not a bad thing. I want you to get them done. But understand, every will can be contested. And because a will can be contested, because one person can say, "No, that's not what mama told me. That's not what granddaddy told me. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Nope, I ain't letting it go down like that. We're going to court." Now that will that you thought was going to save everything is put right into court, and years are passing by, and nobody has ownership of anything. Have the hard conversations with people. Let them know what they are supposed to be getting or not supposed to be getting. Don't let them be mad now while you here if they're going to get mad. Okay? At least you here. And you can tell, well, you might as well just be mad. You can have that talk with them. You can tell them and put them in line. Next thing you need to do is you need to take a good evaluation of your assets. What do you have? What do you own? Do you have your home? Do you have rental property? Do you have land? Do you have accounts? What all do you have? If you have additional items, I always say the more complicated it gets, the more you actually probably need a trust. Your trust is stronger than your will. Your trust allows you to probate your own life while you are living. Your trust allows you to say that little Johnny gets this money, but he don't get it till he's such and such years old. He don't get the whole amount at one time because you already know if he get it all. Y'all know y'all children. I know mine. Okay. I'm going to divide this thing up. He going to get 25% every few years. He got to be doing good, have a place of his own, up on his own 2 feet before he get anything. Your trust also keeps things private. I had a pastor one time told me, he said, "Baby, I've been in control my whole life. I'm going to be in control from the grave too." He set up his trust. This is what they're getting. This is who's getting it. This is how it's going to go down. I had another client that decided to do a generation skip trust. A what? What? A generational skip. Skip. This generation right here acting a nut. I done worked my whole life for this. I'm skipping you. This grandson over here got good sense. Y'all with me? And that's who's going to get it all. Are you welcome? Okay? Somebody should have told you, right? Mm-hmm. So a trust puts you more in control in terms of what you have and how it's going to be dispersed to the next people coming behind you and how they're going to receive it. Like I said, it keeps everything private as well. You may not want everybody to know what you even owned, and you certainly don't want them to know what your wife or your children or whomever is going to inherit. We love our folk, but they don't need to know everything all the time. Maybe I'm the only one, y'all like perfect, so y'all don't mind everybody knowing, but yeah. Okay. All right. So who else could possibly need a trust? Those with blended families. Okay. There's been marriages, divorces, children, stepchildren, etc. You know who you want to receive what in your heart, regardless if that child is biologically yours or not. You know what you want to be given and who you want to get it. You need a trust. Yeah. Who else would be good? Those who have mental issues. You need a trust for them. Why? Because they come with a check. And everybody don't love them for the same reason that you love them. So you need to dictate who receives this person and who's going to receive that benefit. Who else could use a trust? Those of you with minor children. If something happens to you, mama, something happens to you, daddy, where does your child go? Who gets custody of your child? And while you're deciding that, are you going to leave a policy so that that person is receiving your child is also going to receive the money to raise them with? A lot to think about, isn't it? It surely is. None of these things are made up, y'all. This is stuff, this is real life, things I done seen people going through. I just want y'all to start thinking about it as well. If you're about to retire, make sure you get all those benefits you possibly can before 30 days pass. Because you can't go back in 6 months and say, but I heard I was entitled to. She walked out the door a month ago. Them benefits shut down now. Luke 14:28 says, for which you desire to build a tower does not first sit down and count the cost. Planning is not a lack of faith. Planning is wisdom. Planning is actually your faith in action. Let's talk a little bit about life insurance. When I went into this industry, I told y'all when we did our workshop before, I was flown out to 2 different places, okay? One of them was Kansas, and it was real cold. I never forget that trip. They had me on what me and my mama still laugh now. I called the little engine that could. It was that plane. That plane had them little propellers on it. One of them teeny planes. Oh, Lord. Apostle, I remember calling. I was talking to mama on the phone. I said, these people put me on this plane. Y'all better pray. At that moment, she said, I'm in here now with a room full of bishops. We getting ready to pray right now. You gonna make it. I never forget that I was in Kansas because I remember telling her I'm clicking my heels and Dorothy is not coming home. It was definitely Kansas. But I went out to this insurance conference. I learned a couple of things. I learned that insurance companies have all the money, not banks. Because if that bank burn, who they calling? Insurance company. And I learned that there are policies out there that many times are sold and you've been told they're permanent, but they're lapsing. Now, you all have a handout. If you will open up your handout, the first page, well, maybe second page, depending on which one you got, should be one on life insurance. Yours look a little bit different from mine, because I gave all these out yesterday. But you got life insurance. Now, At the top here, we have term policies. Many of you may be familiar with term policies. And the reason I'm going over life insurance is because for many families, mine included, the best way that you have to transfer significant wealth is through your life insurance. Unless you become a multimillionaire, for most people, a good policy is actually one of the only vehicles that you have. So I want to talk about it a little bit. Life insurance here with term insurance. Term insurance is going to give you a lower payment, a higher benefit, no cash value unless you get a policy with something called a return of premium. There are return of premium policies. Okay? A return of premium policy has to be set up from the beginning just that way, and it will return to you. It will give you a check at the end of that policy for 75 to 100% of what you paid into it. So basically, you're getting all your money back. Okay? You never heard of them? I know. Again, that's why I'm contracted with the number of companies I have. Okay? Now, you see there it says the end of term, okay, payment up to 10 times or more, and then a term policy terminates. What does that mean? That means that 97% of term policies never pay a death benefit. Lady yesterday said, that's a scam. Here's the thing. The policy is right for the right situation. If you are young and you have small children and you want to make sure that if you pass away, that somebody has more than a $25,000 policy in order to continue to raise them with, you want to leave $200,000, $300,000, or you want to make sure that you make $40,000 a year, and you want to make sure that if you were to pass away, that your spouse will be able to pull $40,000 every year for the next 10 years. We need a $400,000 policy. The cheapest way for us to get that and most affordable for most people is through a term policy. They only last 20 to 30 years. There's no cash value, but it did what it was supposed to do for that 20 to 30 years. You have to take the right tool for the right job, right? Okay. So it ain't a scam, but you know. Now, if you outlive the term, yes, there's nothing there. The Lord done kept you here and you still with us, boo. You ain't going nowhere. All right. So the 20 years has passed, the 30 years has passed. Yes, that policy is now over because the price is going to start going really high. Okay. And most people have to let them go. But did it do what it was supposed to do for that time period? If you had passed away during that time period, it would have paid out a significant amount of money. So we put it in where it's needed. That's term. Next is whole life. Whole life is typically that envelope that grandma had on the back of her door in her room. For those of you that's my age and a little older, you might remember that. Young folk, y'all don't know about that. All right, those were whole life policies. Whole life policies are permanent. They're never going to end. They are there for exactly what it says, your whole entire life. What you get today and the amount that it costs today is exactly what it's going to cost in 20, 30, 40 years. It will never, ever change. That means that if you get a whole life policy and you're only paying $23 for it, that's all you're going to ever pay for. It's $23. Okay? Permanent will always be in place. And let me say, there's no health condition that cannot be covered. Many of you may have applied with different companies, and because of different things, it could be you're on a certain medication, it could be height and weight, it could be that you just came through a certain health, situation or whatever, and they declined you. It does not mean that you cannot be covered. Everybody can be covered. I have companies that don't even ask height and weight. Everybody can be covered. Okay? So your whole life, like I said, is going to always be there, never change. Yes, it will have cash value in there, but understand that if you take a loan on that policy, that's a loan. So if you go tapping into the cash that's in there, it's yours. They'll send you a check right quick. Okay? but that's a loan with an interest rate. So when you take it out, again, understand what it is that you're doing. If you have no intentions of paying it back, then just know that when you pass away, they're going to take that amount out of the death benefit of that policy. No big deal. Maybe if your policy is $100,000 and you borrowed $5,000, and maybe with interest it ends up being $7,000 or $8,000 when you pass away. Okay, they're gonna take that out of $100,000. Your family's still good. But what about if the policy is a $10,000 policy? Now that's a big deal. Okay, so you want to check also your family. Has mama taken a loan? Did grandma take a loan on that policy? You know how many families don't find out until that person dies that what they thought they had, they don't have? Lots of families. Times got hard on her. She needed to get some extra money, so she took it out of her policy. She didn't say nothing to you because she didn't want you to know. And you don't find out until it's time to use the policy with the funeral home. Okay. Y'all still with me? All right, we learning? Yeah. Praise God, praise God. The last type that you all have there is universal life. A universal life policy, just like it says, and the other name for this policy is a fixed adjustable life. All right, so with these policies, they'll have a level premium for a time. It's going to build cash. It has inside of it an increasing cost of insurance, meaning every year that you get older, it takes more money to keep this policy going. Okay? Because it takes more money to keep the policy going, they take the extra money out of your cash value of your policy. Well, once all the cash value is gone, you might as well throw your policy in the trash because you have no more life insurance. That's the policy they told me about in Kansas. I couldn't even take notes no more. My heart was broke. You got to be kidding me. Y'all selling this to people. What in the world? Where could you have gotten one of these? You would have gotten them from an agent that would have came and told you that this is a good policy. It's not a term, so it's not going to end on you, and it's not a whole life, so you ain't going to have to pay as much for it. It's right there in the middle, and you would say, oh, okay. And they would have said, and it's a permanent policy, and you would have bought it. Many of you, if you don't have one, I promise you, you have a family member that has one. And they don't know what they have. It also has an expiry date. Who wants a policy with an expiration date? All right, so that's a little bit on life insurance. The form, you all have a form on the back of your handout. Everybody turn to the back. I ask for you to fill this form out for a couple of reasons. If you've already filled it out one time, fill it out again. Why? Reason number one, because somebody sitting around you needs to fill out the paper and don't want to, because you're going to see they filling it out and you didn't have to fill it out. We don't like nobody in our business. The other reason, to make sure that you are on our email list, so you at least get the emails. If you don't need us today, at some point, 9 times out of 10, you're going to need to talk. That allows us to stay in touch with each other, because if not, these right here end up in the car. I know what happened to them. They end up in the car. They might not even make it in the house. Okay? It's true. It's okay. But if you need to talk with me, you also are able to check a box on there that says, give me a call. And this is what I want to talk about. Okay? No fee. I'll call you. We can talk over the phone. We can do a Zoom. We can meet, whatever we got to do. All right. So I wanted to make sure I told y'all about those, and y'all can just, I put it on the back so it's easy for you just to take it off. But you keep the rest of the paper. Now, let's talk a little bit more about trust, since that's the very next page y'all got, should be in your handout. Should be on trust. What's included in a trust? Well, first of all, this is a full estate plan. If you want to know what documents are included in a full estate plan, these documents right here are included in a full estate plan. All right. So you can have different types of trusts. Let me start with that. There's different types of trust. You have revocable trust. A revocable trust is like the easiest type. It allows you to put things in the trust, take things out. You got 3 properties or whatever. You already know you're going to sell 2 of those properties to fund your retirement or to help fund your retirement. And so you're going to want to take it out of the trust. All right. You got moving parts in there. All right. So that's typically what a revocable trust allows you to do, is move things around. The next type of trust that we have is an irrevocable trust. An irrevocable trust, once you put things in there, they're pretty much in there. You're taking it out of your name at that point. All right. It's kind of under lock and key at that point. What's the benefit of that? Well, many people want to set things up so that if they end up needing help, so Medicaid can't take everything they got. I'll explain more about that in a second. Okay. So we got different types of trusts, and there's countless different types. This is just a very short. Next is a certificate of trust. What this does is it lets people know, hey, a trust exists. If by some chance people don't know where to go and put their hands on it, if you didn't make sure that when you passed away, somebody could walk in your house and within 5 minutes get to your drawer or your folder where all your important papers are, and they got to go searching for stuff. At least if they find the certificate of trust, they know that there's an actual trust document somewhere. Next, we're going to have the will and testament in there. We have a financial and a healthcare power of attorney. Mom or daddy is sick. Somebody needs to be able to say what they want and they don't want done. Did we get a power of attorney done? And did we get it done while she was still in her right mind, so somebody can't come along and say, she didn't even know what she was doing. She was already taking medicine for dementia. Did we do things, and we do them in a timely manner? One of the biggest things that I'm seeing right now, y'all, that's messing up folks financially when it comes to this that I'm discussing, is we wait too long. You're right here today. It's going through your mind what you need to do. We won't talk again for another year or more. We wait too long. We think, whoa, we're not going to get sick. Daddy doing good. He going to be fine. Mama doing good. She all right. Grandmama them fine. Until that call come in the middle of the night. You done waited too long. They ain't passed away. No, they at the hospital. And now they on 5 different medicines that they did not have yesterday. Now everything that we could have done, we can't do it anymore. We waited too long. So we have financial power of attorney also allows you to legally be able to sign for the people that you love. Mom has money in the bank or whatever, and you may need to go and get that because now she can't get there to pay her own bills. Well, when you get to the bank, they're going to say, well, what gives you the right to be able to go into her account? This form I got right here, financial power of attorney, gives me the right. Okay, no problem. Also go to the bank and make sure you set up your accounts with beneficiaries on them. If everything is sitting only in your name, you are taking a huge chance. I don't care what your age. If it's only in your name and can't nobody else get to it. Remember, when you pass away, they run your social security number. As soon as they put your social security number in the system and say that you have died, every account that you have is frozen. It is shut down. Can't nobody touch nothing until after probate. Probate might be 6 months from now before it's over. And then I told you all about the legal guardianship there at the end. So I went over life insurance with you. It's just a couple more things that I want to make sure that we got. Your retirement. Make sure you understand your retirement and how your retirement works. If you don't understand your retirement accounts, where your money is every time the market goes up and down, are you losing money? Do you understand how that account even works? If somebody says the wrong thing and the whole stock market crashes out, Do you wake up the next morning and now you done lost $30,000 of the money that you thought was going to be there for the rest of your life to take care of you? It happens every day. It happens to people all the time. I can't tell you how many people I've sat down with and they say, well, 3 months ago, I had an extra $100,000 in that 401k. It bottomed out. There are accounts where your money can be, where you get paid for life, even with a zero balance. Even with a zero balance. You can also put things like long-term care benefits on there so that if you need care, you actually have more money to take care of yourself. Somebody should have told us, right? Now, I want to talk to you all about something that's very, very real. And it deals with long-term care. If I could say that I got a soapbox that I stand on and scream to folks, please listen. First would be about the universal life insurance. Second would be about long-term care. Here's why. When it comes to long-term care, understand that Medicare does not cover long-term care. It never did. Medicare will only cover days 1 through 20. So if you were to have a stroke, go to the hospital for a couple of days, and now you need to go to a skilled nursing facility, Medicare is going to pay for the first 20 days at 100%. It's paid. Day 21, they're going to want somebody to start paying in around $200 per day. Every day. Not every month, every day that you are in the facility. That's a lot of money, y'all. Now, if you qualify for Medicaid and you were already on Medicare and Medicaid, then Medicaid will begin to pick up that bill. But if your income is too high and you don't qualify for Medicaid, this is where you lose everything. I'm going to tell you how. After you've gotten through the fact that they want $200 per day, we finally get to day 100. At day 100, Medicare is 100% paying. They're not paying anything else. So if you are in a facility that monthly costs $7,000, Medicare is not covering that bill at all. So where does the money come from? The 401k, the IRA, the extra property that you own that you never took out of your name. You're sitting there with everything in your name. You holding the bag. The rental property, the land that's sitting there still in your name because you didn't want to add your sisters or brothers on to it, so you left it all in your name. It comes from your estate, which is everything that you own. And they're going to tell your family that y'all need to do something called spend down. Spend down means that you need to go spend up that money on that person's care. And once it's all gone, then we'll come. Medicaid more than happy to help you then. You don't have an estate. It's all been spent. Millionaire to Medicaid. So what could you have done to prevent that? Remember the trust I told you about? You could have set up an irrevocable trust. They even call them Medicaid trusts. You could have had that set up to take things out of your name, but you would have had to do it at least 5 years before you needed it, because they do a 5-year look back, meaning that if you have had any property, accounts, etc., change hands within the last 5 years, they will penalize you and they're not coming to help. Why? Because they figured that you went moving stuff around because you knew you were sick and you didn't want the state to be able to get to your assets. Do people do that? Absolutely. They do everything they can because now they know they down and that they're sitting there with everything in their name. Don't wait. Don't wait. Tell your family, don't wait. Go talk to mom and daddy. Go talk to grandmama and them. Don't wait. Some of you all in here are young. I'm talking about your inheritance. It's supposed to be there for our children's children. Go have a little talk with your older family. Or call me, I'll come do it. All right. Y'all learned something during that section. Lord have mercy. That's a big one. Okay? Get your things in order. If you're self-employed, remember you got to set up your own benefits. Somebody in here may be a self-employed individual. Please remember there's no company there to set up anything for you. You are it. Okay? And so I help self-employed people all the time, truck drivers, I mean, it don't matter, to set up all their own benefits and make sure they're good to go. If you are on Medicare and you have questions about Medicare, the difference between a supplement and an advantage plan, those type of things, I'm here to go over those things as well, okay? I won't go all the way down that road today, but if that's something that you or a family member has questions on specifically, then I definitely want to answer those for you. For young folks, a lot of times I get asked, well, where should we start investing our money? Or if you've never invested yourself, where should we put it? Get you something called a Roth IRA. Get you an account that you don't have to pay taxes on when you get ready to start getting to your money. That's why they put a limit on how much you can even put in per year. Okay? They won't let you go in there and put $20,000 in a Roth IRA per year. They say, oh, whoa, wait a minute. We ain't gonna get to tax that. So they got a limit on you. $7,000, $8,000, I believe, if you're over 50. Okay, so you can do a little catch up. But I always believe that's a great place for young people to start. And it also develops a habit for them every year that I'm going to have this account and I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this money in here yearly. Okay, so this is what I need y'all to know. Again, God didn't bring y'all in the room by accident. All right. You didn't show up here by coincidence, okay? Remember, there's long-term care policies that you can get. If you need long-term care, if you are worried about later on who's going to take care of you, we all have to aid you all. Who's going to be there to do the things that you did for them when they was babies? Who's going to be there to do that for you when you get old? Because that's what these bodies do. At some point, somebody going to have to change your diaper. All right? And if you don't want that to be your child, if you don't have somebody lined up that you know can handle that type of responsibility, and that's a huge responsibility, then you need to be looking into some type of a policy or a plan so that you can make decisions on who's going to take care of me. If you don't like the nurse that they sent on Thursday, what they're coming back on Friday for? Usually because you don't have a policy so you can make a decision on who you want. You're not in the driver's seat because you didn't get stuff now. You waited. And now the state gonna determine who's gonna come and take care of you. Okay. There's I have a contract with Mutual of Omaha that does my long-term care insurance. I do policies for people that just want a policy for who will come to the house and take care of you. I do that through Aetna. I'm contracted with probably 20 to 30 different companies because each company can do something different. And so I look at your scenario and then I'm able to plug in what's best for you instead of working for one company and having to try to tell you that this is the best thing since sliced bread when I know it ain't. Okay. All right. So again, as I said, you didn't show up here today by coincidence. And I'm hoping that there's something that I said today that's going to fill in the gap for you. Okay. Being a good steward is not just about, our giving. It's also about protecting what God placed in our hands. So many have regrets because they had it right here in their hand and they let it slip right through their fingers. Make sure your labor does not evaporate the moment that something goes wrong. Your baby's watching you. What you do, they're going to do. If you plan and put things in order, they're going to plan and put things in order. All right. I want you to know, as far as I told you how I work and that type of thing. So if you have questions and if you decide to use someone else, that is fine. Just get it done. Just get it done. Okay. If you all have any questions, please, 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 sir, ma'am, don't be embarrassed to ask. All right. I'm just going to ask, does anyone have a question about anything I've said today? Y'all quiet. Now, y'all got quiet on me. Anybody have any question? Anybody have any feedback? Was there anything that I said that you've lived through that you want to let the rest of the people know that they need to be paying attention to? Yes, ma'am. Wonderful. Awesome. 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 Mm-hmm. It's a what now? Okay. Uh-huh. Here, you can use mine. Okay. I hear you. Okay. Wonderful. Do you need to do anything else? Yes, that's fine. Yes, ma'am. Okay. What? Hush your mouth. She don't even look it. Go ahead now. Do it now. Do it. That's right. Okay. I got you. You filled out your paper. You filled out your paper. Well, I'm gonna call you. If you fill it out, man, I'm calling you, girl. We're gonna talk. Okay, you got it. No problem. No problem. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Gotcha. Usually you can open it up with a couple $100 is a tip because you can go to your bank or your credit union. You can also have it set up like if you want a certain amount to come out of a different account that you got to automatically go into there, you can set that up too. All of them are structured differently. Typically, there's no penalty. It's not like a CD or something where you get penalized if you don't leave it in there a certain amount of time. It doesn't really operate that way. So no, you got flexibility with your Roth as well. But I always tell folks once you get it in there, try to leave that one alone. Try to leave that one alone. We want to pull from our savings accounts and stuff like that for things that we have going on if we can, so we can leave that Roth and let it grow because that interest is compounding in there and it's growing. It's working for you. Okay. Yes, sir. All of them are different. And so let's say you have two accounts or whatever. You got one, with a credit union, you got one with a regular bank. I always tell people call both and go with whoever's going to give you the better rate. Another thing is like high yield savings accounts. If you have savings that you want to put to the side or whatever, then talk with banks and stuff about their high yield savings accounts because you're going to get better rates than just with a regular savings account. We know we don't make no money from no regular savings account. High yield, YIELD, high yield savings account. Absolutely. So ask them about that as well. Because if that's just money, emergency money, the emergency money might as well be making some money too. Okay. A regular savings. No, 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 no. Check. High yield savings account. Okay. I love them. Those are great. Sure. I always want you to get a Roth started so that you have an account because your 401k taxes has to be paid on every penny that you remove from that 401k. So I always want people to have that Roth so you got an account with no taxes all over it. Okay. The other thing would be, yes, if you have a certain goal in mind, a certain time frame, then yeah, you definitely want to have your 401k set up for that. Now, certain companies will have it like if it's with Fidelity and stuff like that, and your timeline, they'll set you up on a path. They have it already structured for the time frame that you have. So if you got 10 years, if you got 20 years, if you got, whatever, they'll put you on their 20-year plan in order to hit that goal by the time you get there. Make them work for you. Because remember, the 401ks and stuff, they taking out those fees and everything. Them people work for you, but we'll never call them. For self-employed, you can do a self-employed pension. You can do a self-employed 401k. You can set up all that stuff for self-employed individuals. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yes, everything that employee would have through a company, you can set it up yourself, and they have it available for self-employed people. I'll show you. But you can do those. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
For one of the parents that and they have property like a land or something.
Mhm.
and went through probate.
Okay.
And one of the children
Mhm.
started paying the taxes on it every year,
Okay.
but it's not legally in their name.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Mm-hmm.
paying it because they want to hold on to it because like.
Yeah, you don't want to let it go. You don't want to get, yeah. Uh-huh.
Now, what are the legal rights with that? I mean,
Unfortunately, paying the taxes does not give you any legal right to that property. You're just making the tax payment. You still have got to have legal paperwork that entitles you to that piece of land. That's the only thing that's going to make it yours or whatever. But making the payments on the taxes, I think is a great idea because it keeps it from being sold out from up under you. Okay. But you need to be moving in a direction of getting things legally set up so that the land actually belongs to you as well. Okay. And if you got multiple people that's on the land, multiple names on the land, then it's time for one of the meetings. I say it's time for one of those meetings. We need to talk. Yes. Yes, you need to have a meeting with that family because if you have multiple people on it, it can be up under the title of heir property. Okay. With heir property, yeah, it can't, Medicaid can't come and touch it or anything like that. But it's still, in my opinion, at a little bit of jeopardy because if one person or two people decide that they're going to sell their portion, they can go to a judge and say, split this up. Okay. And that's called partition. And if they say split it up, now the land is all broken up. And so now the families either are going to get their portion of it or an investor can come in and slip a piece. So we want to make sure that we get that thing set up legally under the right names and everything. So we still don't end up losing it if one person decides they're going to, sell their piece of it.
what if the father gave that property to the son that was over in California?
Mhm.
He died and his wife still living.
Mhm.
She sent you a letter and said, I don't want it no more. But it's not
Uh-huh.
notarized.
I would have her, even though she sent the letter, I would still want to go to an attorney. The attorney would give you the proper paperwork for her to sign that legally takes her off of that land. Okay. I had a pastor one time. He owned some land. He ended up going to different states. He took a summer and he went to different states. And he said, I talked to family I never met before in my life. But the attorney gave me the papers I needed and I had them sign off. He said a couple of them I had to write them a check. But they signed off on the land. Now the land has one owner, him, and he's going to leave it to his kids. So you got to go through the right steps to make sure with that kind of stuff because you don't want nobody to pop up at the courthouse and say, wait a minute. If somebody passes or, something like that and it'd be a problem. So, but you're doing the right thing though. Just go to the attorney and get them to give you the right paperwork to have that person in California officially, legally sign off. Right, right. So she got it.
So she got it.
Mm-hmm.
He is a son.
Mm-hmm.
But the wife is the one that we talk about.
Yes, 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 yes. Because right now the wife is on it. The wife is still living, so it don't belong to the son yet. Okay. Another reason, y'all, to take care of these things earlier because the more babies is born, the messier it gets. Okay. The messier it gets. The more people die, the messier it gets. Get those things done. But that's a great question. Great question. Another reason for a trust. Okay. Many times I have people say, well, I want my son to get it, but I don't want that wife to be able to. I have all kind of conversations. I don't want her to be able to get it. And so they do a trust for one person. It can only go to that one person. And if they divorce or whatever, my land don't end up getting all mixed up in y'all's divorce. Yes.
So with air property, say that, for instance, there's two left. So with the two that is left, I guess we need to have a meeting about that because it's like 33 acres. But
Oh
it's
yeah,
air
y'all need to
property.
meet. Y'all definitely need to meet. Right, it's air property with the two people that's left.
Right.
Okay, so those two people that's left need to decide what their wants and desires are for this land when they pass away. Are we gonna keep it this way, and then the last person that's left is all theirs, or do
It's family all together, like the siblings.
Right, Right. And they can keep it like that if they want to keep it that way, because whenever one of them passes away, whomever is that last person left, that's their property. Now it's not technically heir property anymore because we got one person left. And so it can be rewritten all into that one person's name that's left. Now, where it would get complicated is where as people pass away, their children.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's where it can get complicated. With that, now if we're going to take it down to one person, we need, like I was telling him, you need the legal paperwork to do that because there's other beneficiaries involved in that. And so if one of them passes away and the other children want to take ownership of it or whatever, if that's not the desire of those two people that's still living, they need to legally go to an attorney and have that worked out. So you got to talk about what's the goal for this land. Who do we want to have this land? Other thing is one person name only on the land. Remember, if they end up needing long-term care and we only got one person's name on that land can end up paying for that person's long-term care and be taken.
Even if it's their property.
Heir property, no, I'm talking about once we get down to one person. No, once we get down to one person. Yes, ma'am.
And the attorney had told my parents that the property, because my dad, they wanted to put all three of us on the property that they have. And so the attorney was saying, like, I don't think that would be a good idea, especially if you recipients don't agree.
If they don't agree. That's right. That's right. Because what the attorney was trying to do was keep y'all from a messy situation later on. That's what the attorney was trying to do. He was trying to keep y'all from a situation where two people want to sell it, but one person don't. Okay. So that's why he was saying, I would just have one person, on there to make decisions where this land is concerned, because if not, then that could become a whole court battle within itself. Yeah, absolutely. Whenever we have disagreement and it goes to court, that's a whole situation just waiting to happen. Anybody, y'all got good questions? Now, check y'all out. Now, come up now. Anybody else? Any questions? Life insurance, Medicare, long-term care? Yes, ma'am.
What can I set up for, because I'm a single mom.
Okay.
So I have two that are under 18. I have one that is 18.
Okay.
But if something were to happen to me, whether I was just hospitalized or death or whatever,
Right.
my daughter, she loves her brothers, but I wouldn't want to put that on her. Even though she's like, I'm getting my brothers. What can I set up to say, hey, he's gonna go, if I'm in the hospital or anything like that, he's gonna go with his dad. But my oldest son and sister, they have the same father.
Gotcha.
So, but he's just
Do a trust.
So, okay, just put it all in the trust.
Yep. All those details like that right there need to be put into trust. That way your wishes are known legally. They are known as far as how it is you want this to happen. The other thing that you do is you put good coverage on yourself. I always tell moms, dads, y'all got small kids, you need to have a policy, a significant policy, that if you were to pass away, there's enough that the family can continue. And for most people, that can't happen with a $25,000 policy. Okay? Can't nobody raise them babies with $25,000. All right? So term would be a perfect type of a policy for you. You have multiple children. You want to make sure that if something were to happen to you, that there's a significant amount left. The other thing, we have what's called living benefits now that can be put on insurance. A living benefit, what it does is, let's say we have a $300,000 term policy and you have a car accident. You haven't passed away, but now you're disabled. From that policy, they'll send you up to $250,000 depending on your level of disability to take care of yourself while you're living. Okay, so now that life insurance is doing more than one thing. That would be perfect for you. Okay, because you want to make sure that I hadn't passed away. I'm just sick. I'm just down. I need to recover, that kind of thing. And you want something in place so that you can do that. So now that one payment is doing more than one thing for you. Okay, and it's an enough if you did pass to truly raise your children.
Will whole life do the same thing as well as the term life?
Whole life will, we just need to get more. We will need to get more, because if we're trying to do it like that, then the death benefit has to be high enough for them to say, okay, we can pull 50,000 from this policy. You know what I'm saying? From the face amount of the policy. Yeah. Your whole life is your permanent coverage. So no matter what term you take out, anything like that, that whole life policy, when that term policy ends, your whole life policy is going to already be there, and it's going to already be locked in on your current age. Yeah. 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 I got lots of clients that got both. They have a term policy and they have a whole life policy, because they want to go ahead, make sure they got their permanent, always going to be there. This is the policy that's going to bury me. They want to go ahead and get that locked in at their current age, but they got kids, or they got debt, or they got whatever going on. And so I need this term policy too, to make sure that all these other things can be covered if I were to pass.
Now, whole life is the one that you can borrow significant amounts of money from. You know how we talked before about how you hear people say the $1 million babies, people have the babies and put the insurance policies on them, and then they borrow off of them and all of that kind of stuff. So remind me about all of that when you were doing that.
Okay, so when you're doing that, first of all, those were creating, you hear them talk about the Rockefellers and all this kind. Okay, all right. So that is, the Rockefellers use whole life for that. I know you hear a lot about Index Universal Life, IULs, all that kind of stuff. IULs didn't even start until the 90s. They didn't exist for the Rockefellers to even start using that. So that was whole life policies. They would put high dollar, significant whole life policies on children, adults, everybody. Then they would make the beneficiary of the policy the family trust. With me? So the beneficiary is not one person that might take all the money and blow it or whatever. The beneficiary is the trust. It's our legal entity. Somebody passed away, the money goes into the trust. Now we have, if a family member needs money, if a family member is going to start a business, if they're going to do something significant or whatever, they don't have to go out here and get a loan. They can take it out of the family trust. Every baby that is born, we're going to put another high dollar policy on that baby. It's what we do generationally. The family trust at this point has hundreds of thousands of dollars in it, and the trust can invest. That legal entity can invest. So now my trust owns real estate. My trust, you with me? So now all the money that's in my trust is growing. So now we got $1 million trust, a multi-million-dollar trust for our family. All right. Grandson want to go to college. He ain't got to take no loan. He get it from the trust. When somebody die, because they have a high policy on them, it pays it all back. Okay. That's what families do. But you have to see the value in putting a significant amount of money into the insurance to even get it going. Okay. And a policy enough to bury me ain't gonna do it. Ain't gonna do it. Okay. So yes, it works. It works. It works. There's families that's all they use. They need something, they just go to the family trust and they get it from there. And then if they pay it back, they pay it back. They set up the whole terms. They go in and they have a business meeting with the attorney. Here's our trust or whatever. And they have a meeting for that. And then they go ahead and they take the money out, do what they need to do with it, pay it back or don't pay it back, depending on what they agree, as a family within a trust. So it's a whole lot of stuff is this. Somebody had to tell you though, right? Best place to start many times is with the younger people, because their coverages is lower priced and you can get a lot of coverage on them for a low amount of money, and then it's locked in because it's whole life. So if you did a $500,000 policy on a 3-year-old and it only costs, I don't know, $100 and something or whatever, it's going to always only cost that. Now we started. Now we do it with the next baby and the next baby and the next baby. Okay. Usually it's too much for us to start with us older people. Uh-huh. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I don't do trust. I'll make sure it's right. So we do it with an attorney. There are online things that you can use to set up with a trust as well. I always like to let people know it exists. But if you set it up on your own and it's not right, you don't set it up on your own. Okay? So it's a lot of, you can get forms, you can go to websites like lawdepot.com. That right there is one you can use. You can get the documents and you can set it up. But if you do something wrong, you don't put the person's legal name in there. You don't, use the actual plat and everything for the property and all of that kind of stuff. You just put the street address, you can end up in a bad situation because you didn't do it right. And the only person you can blame is you because you set it up yourself. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
If you have land and you said more than one person's name was on the land, and they say to you, well, I'm going to sell my part.
Okay.
So that's legal and binding. They can just sell their part to anybody?
Let me make sure I got this right. You have land, more than one person's name is on the land, and now we have someone who does not want to have the land anymore. One of those people have decided that, hey, I'm not going to keep this land anymore. I'm done with the land. And so you're asking, is it legal? Tell them to sell it to you. If you're the other person on the land, have them sign it over or whatever, or sell it to you. If you know what I'm saying? And then that way, now the land is only one person's name on it. It's yours. So yes, they can say, I don't want my piece of it anymore. I'm going to sign it over. Like I was telling him, to get the legal documents or whatever. I don't want my piece. I don't want to have anything to do with this land anymore. Absolutely, you can. Absolutely.
Can I ask a question?
Where you at? Who talking? Okay.
So
Yes,
in
ma'am.
the case that, let's say the person doesn't have the finances to buy the land, now will that force the land to be put up for sale?
If the person doesn't have the finances to buy it, it depends on, first of all, how much somebody is asking for the land. Okay. And are we doing fair market value? Are we doing some inflated cost? Are we, what are we doing? All right. So that's first. Second would be, if they don't have the financial means, if it's got a price tag on it, you got to pay, and they don't have the financial means, then you can't force that. If their name is on it, you can't make them take their name off. Remember I told you about the pastor that went around? Sometimes he said he had to write checks. He had to pay them in order to remove their name from the land. Family he had never laid eyes on in his life. But the land was worth more to him. It was worth more to him to go ahead and just pay these people, this cousin or whatever that he didn't know. But legally, they were entitled to it.
So just because a person may say, well, I don't want to be a part of this anymore, that doesn't automatically put the land in jeopardy because one person says, well, I want to sell my part. So it doesn't automatically do that.
No, it's not going to automatically put it in jeopardy. But if they're saying they don't want anything else to do with it or whatever, then I would be trying to at least get some type of legal paperwork done to remove them from it.
Okay.
Legally remove them from it, so they don't change their mind next week.
So that's what I'm asking. They can't just up and sell their part to somebody else.
Here's the thing. Here go the thing.
Yeah, tell me the thing.
I'm going to tell you the thing. Remember I was talking about that order of partition that someone could get? An order of partition is when a judge signs off and says, because this cousin right here has decided that they don't want to have the land anymore. They want to sell it. They want to up and sell their part of the land, okay? Because they've done that, I'm going to allow them to do that. But in allowing them to do that, I got to break it all up for everybody else that's on there. And that's when it goes in jeopardy, because now it's broken all up. All right. So you went away from the safety of that legal entity you had with all y'all being together. Now you done divided this thing all up into little pieces and everything. Well, somebody else might decide they want to sell theirs too. It was 10 of y'all on there. Somebody else say, well, how much y'all got? I'm going to sell mine too. Now we got investors coming in to buy it. Now we got somebody we don't even know living in the middle of the whole family land. Now, where this person come from? I done seen it 100 times. Who in the world is that? All the rest of these is cousins and sisters and brothers. And this one stranger live right in the middle. They divided it up to get the money, and somebody scooped in with the best offer. Okay. That is taking millions of acres of land, by the way. That right there. Any other questions? Y'all remember, what do they call it, the Charleston Nine, when those folks got killed in the church? You remember Clementa Pinckney? I think he was a pastor, but he was also doing a lot of things within the community and law and all that kind of stuff. He had put in a law that did get passed that said that basically when that happens, that families are supposed to give other family members the first right of refusal. You're supposed to be able to say, well, if other family don't want to buy it, then okay, now it's going to go out. And the reason that he did that was because of what we just talked about. Folks were scooping up that land like crazy, you know, and yeah, that's how we lose millions of acres of land. Yes, sir.
Say you're a father and you have a trust, and is there a way that you can set boundaries within that trust?
Mm-hmm.
Like say, like if I know my son may be good with land, but he might not be good with finance.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter might be good with finances.
Yes.
How can I split it up to where they'll get what I want them to get without putting it in the will, because the will is not.
That's right. You're going to do a trust, and you're going to have that attorney write it out basically like you just said.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. I usually tell folks now, you know, you got one child and you get them a $20 bill and say, bring my change back, and they'll never come back. That might not be the one you want over everything. Okay, they ain't bring the change back out to 20, Lord. They didn't bring the change back. Okay, we love them, but that ain't the one you want over everything. So yes, you can dictate things just like that within that trust. You can dictate things if one of your children has drug problems and you just don't want them to inherit a whole bunch of money at one time. They're going to kill themselves. All right. And you want to put rules in there that, yes, they're going to get it, but they got to be up on their own 2 feet. They got to have at least an apartment. They got to go to work every day. All right. They got to pass the drug test. All right. All right. You did that. Now you get 15% of what daddy left you. We'll see you again next year and see how you're doing. You'll get another 15%. Okay. I have a pastor that told me again, like I said, he's been in control his whole life. He's going to be in control from the grave.
Period.
All right.
One last question
Yes.
on this end.
Where
from
we
me.
at? Oh, okay.
Right here. Can you put in your trust that the property could never be sold?
You can.
Okay.
You can, because trust can last. The right type of trust can last over 100 years. Absolutely. Absolutely. You most certainly can. You most certainly can. Oh, and because I see so many children, y'all insuring the kids, please understand, you got 10 and 20-year policies y'all can do on these babies and pay them up while you living. They don't care nothing about paying that life insurance. But you can put a policy on them and do a 10 or a 20-year pay and pay up the policy. And now no more payments have to ever be made, but that coverage will always be there. Okay. What a shame. Grandma done put this policy on you, paid it for 20-some years. She finally give it to you, son or daughter, and y'all let the thing lapse. And then you quit your job. And then you pass away and can't nobody bury you. You didn't see the importance of it, but she did, because she did a paid up policy on you. It's there. It's there. Okay. So I wanted to say that as well. Yes,
I
sir.
have a question too concerning trust and what you were saying about putting stipulations in it, as far as like a person has to go to work, or they have to take a drug test, they have to do this, do that. Okay. Who is the enforcing entity on those stipulations in that trust?
You're going to leave the attorney's office over that trust.
So they're the ones that would have to go there to get a drug test, or to
Yep.
prove that they have went to work.
Absolutely.
And they would have to prove to the attorney that the stipulations have been met.
You got it.
Okay, that's my question.
You got it. You got it.
that's
You got
good.
it. You can have executors over your trust that can be family and that type of thing. But I always tell people, understand the position you putting them in. Okay, understand the position you putting them in. And if you have an executor that's a family member or something, have a backup executor. What if the executor's passed away? We need somebody else that's behind them. Because if not, all of that could still end up going to probate. Ain't nobody there. Y'all learn a little bit today? Oh, we got another question. Yes, ma'am.
Suppose I want to take out insurance. I need to take out insurance for my oldest grandson, which is wealthy, good, and he'll move out in the desert.
Okay.
And this young man, you hardly ever hear from him.
Okay.
He travel a lot, and the people that he be around.
I understand
You don't know
completely.
he's living, he deceased. So would he have to sign papers? I take out his. I know my daughter has
I ain't
insurance.
going to jail fooling with you. I'm just playing.
That's why I'm asking you a question.
I know it. I'm messing with you.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. He got to give his okay one way or the other for us to be
Okay.
able to put a policy
Okay,
on
thank
him. He an adult.
I know my daughter. I want it.
That's okay. You be amazed. I get asked that question a whole lot. Not just on sons, honey, on ex-spouses and all kind of stuff. What I got to do is put a policy on my ex-husband. He got to know you did it. All right. So if y'all would hand in your handouts, I greatly appreciate it. Believe it or not, I am going, when I leave here, to another church to do the same thing one more time today. Okay? And I always tell folks, tell somebody about me. You want to know how to pay me? Tell somebody about me. Because if nothing else, they're going to get some good information. It's going to be a blessing to them. Thank y'all so much. I love you, and you can't do nothing about it. Y'all have a wonderful day.